Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to do a quick short today in regards to some stuff that people were talking about on some of the local, not forums, but car pages. And that is, you don't necessarily have to buy the best car. And I don't even mean the best car overall, I mean like the best car for the money. And both of these, and actually the race car, are really good examples of that. You really have to buy what speaks to you and what you really enjoy. That doesn't mean take your Mercury Milan and slam it and put it on wheels and put exhaust on it, unless you really like your Mercury Milan. And that's fine if you do. If that's what you're into, that is totally fine. You know, it's all, you do you. But I see guys saying things like, you know, is this car worth bringing out? Is this car worth modding? And their response is always no. Not always from me. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's neat if you're into that, then mod it. Yeah, do whatever. But the reality is, if you're not really into the car, don't do it. The second thing is, and this is what these are two examples of, these cars were fairly expensive as a whole. Meaning, this car wasn't expensive to buy, but at this point, I'm sure I'm well over $20,000 into it. This car, I'm over 20 because there's a whole bunch of parts over there that are going to go on it. So when you look at that, you're like, man, you could buy and this is pre-COVID, you could buy a pretty nice C6 for $20,000. The thing is, I don't really like the C6. I don't really want a tame, low mileage Corvette. I wanted something that was kind of nasty, unique, and was my personality. And this car is 100% me. You know, from the get-go, I built this the way I wanted to see it. And you know, for 20 grand at the time, I could have bought a stock, you know, 50,000 mile 06, 07, 08, maybe an 08. They were borderline at the time with the LS3 C6, and honestly, didn't do anything for me. I just wasn't into it. Same with this car. 20 grand buys you a whole lot of really cool old classic cars. However, my wife, her family had a red. It was a 76, and I think they had a 77, a 79, but it fit the bill. It really spoke to her. She really liked the color. She liked the wheels. She liked everything about the car. So these are not the best examples of what you can buy or what you can build for $20,000. However, in my heart, in my brain, and when I drive them, they're the best thing for me. They're the best, not even for me. They're the thing that really, you know, James May says, gives me the fizz. This car, sometimes my legs are still shaky sometimes after I rip it hard. I mean, and it's probably 450, 460 wheel horsepower. You know, but it's just nasty, and it talks to me, and I get excited, and I really enjoy driving it. I've had it for 3 years, which any of my friends know is a lifetime for me. Usually cars just come and go in about a year for me. So the fact that I've kept that car for 3 years shows that I really do enjoy and like that car. This car, we've been driving the heck out of it. We drive it all the time. I mean, that shows how much we really like this car. And actually, I like it enough that I'm going to put a 4-speed in it. I'm going to put air conditioning in it. I'm doing all the suspension, and we're going to hang on to this one. So I think guys get too hung up on, you know, I have X amount of money and I can buy, you know, a certain car for this much. You got to buy kind of what speaks to you and what's exciting. And the Miata is the same way. You know, there's other cars out there that are way better to build than a 116 horsepower NA Miata. But that car is a whole lot of fun, and I laugh the whole time I'm driving it. And, you know, this car may get gapped by a Mustang GT with a tune. You know, the new 10-speed GTs that are ridiculous. What are they, like high 11s now? Bone stock with like a tune and an intake. I don't know if I'll be that in this. Maybe they're high 11s, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. This car speaks to me. So I think guys bench race too much, and they worry too much about, you know, what's on paper versus when you're in the car and you're really enjoying it, you know, what really matters. Same thing in this. I'll just do a little side note on this. R-titles, guys. It does not matter if your car is R-titled. Corvette guys are notorious for this. They poo-poo R-title cars to the moon and back. And the reality is, if you get bumped on the side of this car is going to be totaled because they just explode. All this fiberglass just kind of comes off. So, you know, you can get a perfectly straight car that just, you know, somebody's like, well, I've got a couple of fenders and a door and, you know, some work on the rocker. They put it back together and they get it on the road. And Corvette guys act like they're worthless. And it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I have no problem with an R title car. The only guy that knows that your car is R titled is you, or when you sell it, your sellers. So, you know, if your way, if you want a C5 and the only way you can afford a C5 is this R titled one for $8,000, that is perfectly acceptable. Don't let any of the guys tell you that R titled cars are worthless, because they're absolutely not. It's 15% maybe, sometimes a little bit less. And same thing, you can insure them. I've had, this car's not R titled, but my Mustang was, and I've had other R title cars. It is absolutely no issue to insure them. So call your insurer, but State Farm and Hagerty were both totally fine with R title cars. This car's not R title. This is with Hagerty. They're if you have a car that qualifies, it's awesome. So, all right, guys, have a good one. I just kind of want to talk about that real quick, because I think guys get too hung up on numbers and less about what speaks to you. And hopefully I'll get some decent stuff up here soon. I've had my hands full with work and, you know, summertime. So, all right, guys, have a good one.